The 100-foot road erosion menace came as huge surprise, particularly to the people living within the immediate vicinity.
Erosion bidoro nke 100-foot road.
As a disaster that took inch by inch step to develop, the huge effect and devastation was overwhelming.
Erosion.
Yes.
I know the book of my
Notable minds lost memory of its beginning, only to leave with the effect.
Erosion menace on 100-foot road. If you could remember, the
Nnewi community in general equally saw the unwanted visitor as a shock and a disaster that met them even in their days of youth.
Well, I know that even when I was small, when I was in Nnewi High School, the problem started there. Because I know that some buildings like a Cadet Guest House virtually closed because of the erosion. And that was when we were small. Because we normally pass through that particular area to Nkwo and all that. And most times we'll go there to just peep and see what was happening. Buildings, tall buildings within the area were all carried.
The recollection as to when the erosion began to manifest dangerously to the people who live and conduct businesses on the road was not precise, though its beginning remains traceable. Many had lost property and other valuables as a result of the erosion, which then considered to have defied any known remedy, temporary or permanent.
That place initially was a valley, extending from there to the Nnewi Okigwe Road.
Okay.
Quite forested with buildings by the side.
The erosion site was formerly a busy thoroughfare available for people going to or coming from various destinations in the community, including the popular Nkwo Nnewi market.
Was there a connecting road between the 100-foot road and the Nnewi Okigwe Express?
Not that it is motorable as such, no. Just pathway.
Okay.
Quite wide. And anybody could travel on that. Starting from the old road, 100-foot road.
Yes.
Then that side, and on until you get to the road. Or, as you get very close to it, you turn right, then to the market.
It was formerly a beehive of commercial activities. There were estate development, hospitality, entertainment, and sundry businesses in the good old days. The first major attack by the erosion consumed some residential properties and some businesses, including the famous Ekene Dilichukwu guest house, where people conducted their social activities.
Was there a business activity in the old days?
A lot of it. A lot of it. 100-foot road, you have business activities on both sides, but not down to the valley. Not down to the valley. Now, there was a hotel there built by Ilodibe. You know Ilodibe?
Who is Ilodibe?
Chief Augustine Ilodibe, Ekene Dilichukwu Transport.
Yes.
He built a hotel there. By the right.
Okay.
It was booming. There were other buildings by the left, but not down into that place, not right down the valley, no.
The ugly manifestation appeared to have taken everybody by surprise. and there was no way to solve it. The effect had dampened the desire to continue further ventures and business promotions along the axis in Nnewi.
At a point, people became apprehensive putting their structures there, and even those ones that had structures there were like deserted, because nobody wants to live in a place where it's erosion prone. So I believe it's been a long time. At least my primary school my secondary school I was talking about 1983 when I finished. So you can now imagine the number of years that have gone by, you know.
The 100-foot road was a straight stretch to the Oba Nnewi Okigwe Expressway. The devastation simply became a tragedy to the connectivity that there was a disconnect.
Ife na-enye anyị nsogbu ebe ahụ bụ mbize nke a na-akpọ erosion n'ọnụ oyibo. Ebe ọ dị na 100-foot road wee nwekazie aka na n'ilo nke gabalụ motor spare parts and motorcycle spare parts. Aka na nke ọzọ dịkwa n'ilo galụ na fairly used and new motorcycle dealers association. Nke ahụ ga-emetụkwa electronics and electrical dealers association. Etu aka o si wee gbasa nke ọzọ na-agakwa roundabout wụ ebe eji mara Nnewi. Etu aka o si gbasasị nke bụ na ọ bụ na amaghị ife emerie ịma na ife eji mara Nnewi apụọ.
While 100-foot road almost became non-existent, the Oba Nnewi Okigwe Expressway continued to serve motoring public, but without the usual link to the famous 100-foot road.
I know that there are some buildings, maybe one or two buildings that already gotten into that erosion. There is this recent one. There are some other buildings that have also caved into that. It's true. There are some losses. You know about the losses. Even when this thing was going, I and the DSS man, we are together informing those people to leave the site immediately, so that we lose only the property and not property and lives.
The 100-foot road also serves multiple villages of Okpuno Uzodike, Okpuno Ebu, Umudinkwa, Umwezena, and Okpuno Otolo. The road is equally strategic in the sense that its absence leads to traffic congestion during the morning and evening rush hours.
We moved around. When we started noticing what was going there, we went there on a visit to see what really was going on there. By then it had pulled down that of the hotel there.
The Kenne Guest House.
Yeah, thank you. That's the name. The Kenne Guest House.
We are there other edifices.
And then opposite it, across the road side of the valley,
yes,
there was I think a two-story building belonging to Stephen Nwafo,
okay,
known as Igbo.
Igbo, okay.
He lived in Lagos,
yes,
but he built that.
yes.
I cautioned the group as we were going there not to go very close to the edge, but because by then it had come very close to the building.
Mm-hmm.
So I cautioned them because most of them never knew.
How terrible it was.
Yes, that it was something terrible, and somebody should not be at the edge because it could be undermined.
Yes. Yes.
So any extra weight now will trigger off, slide into the valley. Okay. Then we left it. Mm-hmm. So we stopped short of going to that place, and we left.
So what?
The next rain, mm-hmm, the building collapsed.
Disappeared. Right
into that place. And the owner had to hire laborers to go and get out rod, zinc, another thing they could rescue. And that was the end of it. Then it escalated until it started uprooting all the trees planted there along that very valley.
The erosion was attributable to the lack of organized development within the erosion site cluster, beginning from the rapid building constructions that were made without adhering strictly to the urban development guidelines and specifications.
Nnewi suddenly found itself as an urban area with everyday population escalating. Then people started building without proper drainage system.
Understanding the impacts on the people, activities of human beings within the vicinity of the region contributed to that causing of that erosion is important for us to be able to find a combination of solutions that will be best fit for purpose for that particular site, which is why to the point that previous interventions have failed, the very time-consuming, painstaking studies of environmental impact assessment, livelihood support options in the area, as well as the very thorough engineering design that is done to global best practices, is what's responsible for our success today.
Multi-storied buildings were put up without standard drainages that would channel the water to a central collection point. Consequently, the water found route anywhere possible. The net effect was that the domestic water, in addition to the rain, ran freely through the roads and wherever they found crevices on the road.
In those glories, every compound there, that Benato area, had what we call pit. Catchment pits, very deep. Some of them to 20 feet, even 30 feet.
Yes.
By about 5 feet or 8 feet.
Yes.
So all the water after each rain, they will empty into such without spilling into the street.
Yes.
And so that wasn't there. But because of the population growth,
Yes.
and lack of proper planning, well, water developed. Erosion started moving down the valley, existing valley.
Okay.
Gradually, from being an incipient erosion,
Okay.
it started developing into gully erosion.
His Royal Highness Igwe Kenneth Orizu III mobilized the town's stakeholders, and thus an appeal for intervention was made to the state government. The state government at the time awarded the contract to repair and reclaim the erosion site. Bamboo and Melina trees were planted as palliatives to checkmate the erosion, among other measures.
O nwebu mgbe gọọmenti si gbata ọsọ enyemaka, mana ọsọ enyemaka ezughị, maka ife a na-emekarịcha kịta abụ nke ọbụla apụtana na ewere emelu politiks. Abịakwecha nkwa na ya arụ, ahịa na-ene n'anya, obere oge ya nwozi ife ọzọ ya afụ, akọwakwa akụkọ mgbe oge rukwara agbalakwa bịa. Emechara bịa tinye main road ebe ahụ, mana ilodu bụ ochie abịa taghicha ya. Ọ bụ ịta ya ilo, kedu maka mbize na-apụta na data ilo? Emetụ ha ebe ahụ aka, ata ya nke ahụ fere anyị aka na-arụ ọna until o wee bidokwazie nke a nyere nsogbu. Ọ pụọ na n'otegono ya amakwa na ilo dị ebe ahụ.
After the work done at the site by Runasco, a construction company, everybody hoped that the challenge is well behind the town. Despite the intermittent occurrence at the place that required some repairs, there had not been a major incident for years. The state government later on modernized the 100-foot road and reinforced its strategic importance by making it a real spur to the motorcycle spare parts market and the other markets.
Well, the natives started crying out aloud, and the government was informed about it. They took photographs, videos of such incidents, and handed over to the government at that time. Now, at times, the government might be a little bit lethargic in coming in time. By the time it came, a lot of havoc has been done. But there was one man, one construction company known as Ronasco,
Okay, was awarded
awarded the first contract there.
to
See what
resolve the problem.
Yes,
about the,
yes, what he could do.
Okay.
He was told. So he came over there. We saw what he did. He did a nice job.
He did a nice job.
He did, yes, quite all right. I should be.
So what happened?
Oh, well, like I said, it was palliative remedy.
Or it wasn't a permanent
Yes.
solution.
Solution to it.
It is not an exaggeration to say that the Nnewi community, the business owners at Nkwo, Edo, and their surrounding villages have enjoyed a fair amount of Anambra State government's attention regarding the amount of money that have been spent on the site since the present erosion menace at the 100-foot road, in exclusion of other projects being carried out in the town by government. The erosion was expanding so rapidly that the people of Okpuno Uzodike and Okpuno Ebu had cried out to the town union, which in turn informed the whole community. The various individuals that represent Nnewi North local government area were made aware of the situation taking place with the raging erosion. The communities where the erosion site is domiciled related that the member representing Nnewi Federal Constituency, Chris Azubogu, came to the site and promised that the federal government would be on hand at the shortest time for repairs. A post on his Facebook page on August 31, 2019 said this:
Yesterday, I led a team of World Bank assisted erosion control program to inspect the 100-foot road erosion site, Nnewi. It is my hope that as we solve this erosion issue that has cut off the major road that leads to the market cluster of the industrial city and already eating up buildings. I have been on this very erosion matter, and I hope that we resolve this permanently with this physical inspection from World Bank team. The team saw the urgency of what we are talking about. Going forward, with over 250 active erosion sites in our state, we need a new approach on erosion management for our state. A new approach that will encourage and mobilize a synergy of all the critical stakeholders, a synergy of federal, state, and local government, even intergovernmental relations in collaboration with communities and private sector. A synergy that will also involve global institutions towards resolving environmental crisis should be adopted going forward. I am of the opinion that we must develop a mechanism that will involve everyone, communities, private sector, NGOs, global institutions, and the different levels of government towards resolving this and future environmental crises. An approach that will empower the communities for early control. The truth is that I have never closed my eyes on this 100-foot road erosion, not minding my limitations as a parliamentarian. We are on a quest to solve this issue through mobilization of institutional help.
Taking his turn, the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial Zone, where Nnewi belongs, Senator Patrick Ifeanyi, who incidentally hails from a Nnewi town, promised how he would move the federal government to rescue the people living with absolute dread of the erosion menace. Uba succeeded in pushing a bill that went through a first reading based on what Nnewi and the people could get from open sources. Senator Uba said,
"The general public would recall that on Thursday, July 18, 2019, a called the attention of the Senate Ecological Fund Office and National Emergency Management Agency to the fact that the biggest motorcycle and auto parts market in West Africa, Nnewi Market, which is situated along 100-foot road Nnewi, is currently threatened by the same erosion menace, thereby forcing traders to offload their containers far away from their warehouses and shops, leaving them with no other option than to use wheelbarrows to convey their goods to the market as a result of the erosion-stricken road.
The well-meaning efforts of these legislators did not yield much result, and the erosion attack became unstoppable that the Catholic Church and other churches within the vicinity became a potential target of the ravaging erosion.
Erosion bụ mbize bịara bukọrọ everything, bukọrọ ụmụ ndị mmadụ adị agụta ụnọ ọnụ. Ana m ekwu na ilo nke a gabala ebe a. Enwere chọọchị dị ebe a, Holy Trinity Church, nnukwu ụlọ ụka bụ nke ndị Catholic dị ebe ahụ. Then Rock of Salvation, nnukwu ụlọ ụka bụ nke ndị Anglican dị ebe ahụ. Ụlọ ụka na-aba na-akpọrọ gị afa. Oruhozi 20 meters to the church or 10 meters. Oruhozi 10 meters. Onwete that two churches. Now the other side, aka nwere Deeper Life. Nwekwa Holy Innocent Schools, Gospel School, na other schools dukwa by the other side. No bụrụ na ọ bụghị intervention of governor anyị.
I was aware that of recent, before they started the erosion, this thing, that some people from federal government and everything also visited the site, maybe through the help of our federal legislators. But eventually, when the thing got worse, and we kept on, sending messages to the government and everything, and governor at the time now got to know about the problem, how it was, and he immediately awarded the contract.
Part of the larger efforts made at some point was to get the World Bank come into the ugly situation bedeviling Uno, Uzodike and residents. Expectations also were high then that with the World Bank and new map, the agony of the people, their plight and travels shall become part of history.
We had to engage World Bank to also take a look through new map, to take a look at these erosion sites and decide on which ones to intervene. And I brought them to this 100-foot road. They took pictures, looked at it. The picture was also there. At each way up the path, I got him involved, and he was following up on me, even with his people. Sometimes he will get his opinion leaders, his OB, and they will come here and wait morning, sometimes in the evening, about what we need to do. Then I normally relate to them efforts I've put in place. So even when World Bank came, but what happened was that as World Bank was doing their documentation, the erosion site started widening beyond control.
Our people in government are doing the best that they can, and that is why we believe they are there, and that's why we believe that they will do more. So the same way they are pushing for Nnewi, the same way they are pushing for some other places. World Bank is also doing some other work somewhere. I can't remember the exact time. And it's the same person that facilitated that of Nnewi, that facilitated the other one too.
The huge effort and concern never yielded any good result. The process initiated in that direction was rather truncated through somewhat political gimmicks that left the people of Nnewi in general and Uno Uzodike in particular to their undeserved fate.
In the process of their looking at the project, doing the analysis and engineering designs, some of our brothers went to the site and first declared that the federal government was coming, that they were going to bring the Ministry of Environment under the federal government to quickly intervene, that in a matter of months that they will be here to intervene, and that the House had given the federal government ultimatum to fix that erosion site, and it was widely publicized. So the point is that if I have funds to do some work and somebody else has the funds and is willing to do, I would rather take my funds and go elsewhere and intervene, because the scope of erosion in Anambra State is not something you leave for one person. So it was gladdening that the federal government was also coming. So they had to slow down to...
Who slowed down?
The World Bank has slowed down to look at other sites, while since prominent people from Nnewi had said they were bringing federal government, and it was widely publicized. And even after that, even our other brothers also went further and also announced that the Senate had given also ultimatum to the federal government to come and intervene, and that they were bringing a lot of federal presence to that side. So all these factors slowed down progress of work in that place. Because those assumed efforts and publicized efforts were not forthcoming, the PG had to also start scampering again for help. And that was when he came back, and we started talking to World Bank again. They came back, but I realized, I knew that the process was going to be long. So when the governor approved that first intervention, that even the volume of water coming there, the intervention could not carry it for a longer time. And then he came, and by the time the carnage was finished, he had to quickly get the state funds to work on that.
The joy of the people of Nnewi knew no bounds when at the end of the day there seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel. What seemed insurmountable began to receive huge progressive attention, this time from the state government.
At a point, the intervention that was done there was carried away by the erosion. And at that point, hell was let loose. Buildings for each, even after the rain, for even early morning dew, there will be collapse of buildings inside that place, because the whole soil had been saturated. So any small drop of rain, there's landslide. So even a church was threatened. Some obese that were there was gone, disappeared. The road network was, so the entire place was under threat. And I had to go back to the government to plead with him that if nothing is done, the popular and Nnewi market, maybe by this season will be gone. And that touched him.
So what do we owe the governor?
We thank him for the intervention and pray that God will continue to guide him. You know, governance and attending to people's needs are the cardinal points for somebody who wants to develop or who wants the good. I believe that he's doing good. Some other erosion sites in the Nnewi will be touched because there are so many. So many, if you go to Amiriba, you see that one is almost trying to take the whole village away. And again, the other one, the Anambra State is doing with World Bank in Nnewi is quite a magnificent work. We will thank them, we will continue to thank them and pray that they will do more.
As World Bank was doing their documentation, the erosion site started widening beyond control. And in short, at night, it was raining heavily. He called me that I should please come in the morning. And I went there. I noticed that for each rain, the wash away will be about 40,000 cubic feet of sand. Every rain within last year. That was what widened the gap so much. So I ran to the governor, took the pictures, ran to him as well. I said, look, the World Bank process is a long thing, but how can we stop further widening of this area? Because the carnage was so much. People's property were being affected at that particular point in time. So the governor, in his magnanimity, approved for an intervention, a very quick intervention.
Though the erosion site at the 100-foot road at Okpuno Uzodike and other sundry sites in Nnewi may seem massive and devastating to the bewilderment of natives, Nnewi, however, is further down the rung of the erosion tragedy ladder in Anambra State that government should lose sleep over it. Government's attention to and intervention in the nightmare of the people is, not to say the least, commonplace. There were those who, by virtue of their positions, remained relevant in getting the intervention off the ground. It became solely the responsibility bestowed on such people by the patriotic spirit to take up those challenge of calling the attention of government to the suffering of the people under the weight of erosion.
I did a study of erosion sites in Nnewi at a particular point in time. Did a compendium which I sent to the government. Even at that time, I called on him to show me what has happened. So we picked the pictures, which he was part and parcel of. So why I'm giving you this background is probably why they kept coming, because I initiated the process of doing the pictures, doing a compendium, and sending to the governor for his intervention. But what he told me then was that the state will not have a fund to carry on those projects all over Anambra State. That we should get those pictures and write up, that he would write a personal letter to the president and take those pictures to him to show him the extent of erosion menace in Anambra State, which he did. And I commend him for that, because one thing people don't know about Abokodike is that once he's told about an issue, he takes it up personally. He visited the presidency, and he was told that paucity of funds might hinder the ability of federal government to intervene. And that was why we got World Bank into the scene, and World Bank came, though with a long process.
The tackling of the 100-foot road erosion disaster at Okpuno Uzodike Nnewi is both unprecedented and a Herculean task. The Anambra State government, having taken a firm decision to take the bull by the horns, employed every measure to achieve success in the task of putting a final stop to the menace. Government, therefore, was careful in selection and awarding the contract, applying the principle of primus inter pares in handing over the responsibility.
So, on your background, your company's background, are they very conversant in handling this kind of job here in Nigeria?
Do you know the Obosi erosion?
Yes.
Do you know it?
Obosi erosion, of course.
Were you there?
Yeah, he's from Nnewi.
Did you see what happened there? They called us to come and assist them in the height of the rainy season. Obosi erosion collapsed. And that one big house on the right-hand side, if you're standing on top of the one road looking down at Menage Road,
yes,
that house had already fallen. The small house on this side was on the verge of collapse. The governor called us in to come and assist. And we worked there in the rainy season. We put boulders down there, we put sharp sand down there, we put big bags of sharp sand and tried to build dam walls. And we failed and we failed and we failed, but we managed to eventually win and do the backfilling of Obosi erosion. And Obosi erosion collapsed in July 2017. By the November, we were already very close. October, we were very close to the top.
So you have very good resume.
We understand erosion, and we are busy doing a lot of bidding for new map projects. We finished the 1 year at Ekweme Square.
Okay.
Even at Ekweme Square, the portion that we did is phase 1, and we know if they do not do phase 2, phase 1, I won't say will collapse, is not under threat. That's an ugly word to say. We are going to put in place, because we went and had a look at what the rain has done. It has given a small bit of worry there, but we will repair it soon to make sure it doesn't erode anymore.
As a major party in the intervention and commitment to rescue the 100-foot road, the state government followed closely through inspection and monitoring to ensure that all is well and shall be well with a project that is gulping huge amount of money. There were a series of inspections and visits to the project site after the official flag-off for the commencement of work. The sites at Nnewi and the ongoing project are mere tip of the icebergs in the acute erosion incidents in Anambra State.
By the way, we have sites, horrible sites like this, in about 972 places. So Anambra State government alone cannot, fund these kinds of projects. And we are working with the World Bank new map in only 16 sites out of 972. So you are not scratching the surface at all. So we're pleading on the federal government to assist Anambra. I've severally made representations to the presidency to declare state of emergency on Anambra on erosion. Because we need a massive support. Erosion is taking out most of our topsoils and destroying the property of the people around here. When I came here in October, the depth here could eat very easily. A two-story building, 10 of them, swallow it. But you can see how it is today. This project is costing Anambra State government 4 billion plus, because we are still going to do asphalt the road after this. We have permanently arrested this challenge that we have in this aspect. Very important.
There was small erosion that happened on the site here, but it was very small. We contained it very well. So we will contain the water.
To prove the preparedness to tackle the monster to a final standstill, IDC made a structural design of the site as a strategy to provide solution to the challenge.
At the moment, we are sitting there. That's where we are at the moment.
Yes.
We still have to do 2 more drop inlets and some more drainage and the big catch pit area, plus all these drains, and that takes time. Yes. So what he's doing, you will see when he does his backfill, he's building like a big dam. So that if the water comes out of that drain or this drain here, which are the 2 main causes of the erosion, plus this one here, he will create a dam so that that water will fall into the dam. And when water falls into water, it will also dissipate its energy. If it had to fall into soil, it will churn up the soil. And then he will, with that dam wall, lead it slowly into the existing drain that we've built so that the water will flow its natural course. Okay, it will not cause much disruption.
What you see today is not what you will see tomorrow. So the progress is very, very welcoming to Nnewi, and it's encouraging. It shows that they want that place to be to finish before the rainy season. And coming to the quality of work they are doing, sometime I went there late last month. I met people from physical and material testing in the site. So from time to time, after each compartment, after every compartment, they test the soil to know the level and the quality of the compaction they have. They dig the place, take out the soil, test the soil, and I was asking them, how do they know? How with this thing they are doing? They said that they use it to know how the place, if it's well compacted or not.
The 100-foot road area before it suffered the severe devastation had good road network which made human and vehicular traffic smooth and easy. But the glory of the roads was demolished when the erosion came calling. However, IDC says there is hope of restoration.
The road as well. The roads have also been washed away by the erosion. When we finished the backfilling of this area, the road that goes to the market, which I believe is a very, very busy market, it will be rebuilt and connected with the road that comes past Father Jude's church and that nice big building here. It will also join into the 100-foot road and this little road that goes on the side of the building there. At the moment, we are fighting against time.
The ambience at the erosion site as construction work goes on reflects an atmosphere of seriousness and total commitment to deliver a good and quality job, one that will put a final smile on the faces of the people who were once victims of a monster called erosion.
Can you give us an assessment of what you have seen so far?
Yeah, that job, like I said, from the engineering drawing, for you to do a professional job and stop on a permanent basis whatever has to happen there, is that you must get down to the bottom of that erosion, and as you're laying the laterite, and it has to be a fresh laterite. It's not like you go to a roadside and just get sand to fill it. Fresh laterite, which is virgin laterite, more or less. And then as you're laying, you have to be compacting all the way to the top, all the way. That's a strenuous work. But so when you add up all this, you find out that the amount being deployed there is justified.
From your professional assessment, would you say that the contractors on site are serious contractors, that they are fit to deliver the kind of remediation, reclamation that will give that place a sustainable existence?
Well, I believe that the contractors are doing their best. Anyone who saw it long ago and of recent must know that they've done a lot of job there. And I'm impressed, very much impressed. And if they go on at the rate they're going, I think they can rescue that area.
Every day, with the work that we do, the whole thing that we keep in mind is we must protect everything that we are doing. And most of importance is we must protect the community. That's why Engineer Yusuf and the people on site, they will backfill the areas to make sure that we can contain the water and break the energy of the water that will be coming if it does rain. And take that water when it's calm into our system. As I said, our system is sitting roughly about there, right? We still got 2 drop inlets to build and roughly about 60 meters of drain and the big catch pit.
The torturous number of years that the 100-foot road erosion site tormented the people of Obuno Uzodike and others obviously must have left traces of agony and frustration on the heart and memory of the people. For being their worthy son and the patriotic representative of his people in government, having made it possible for government, it serves to hear their hues and cries. They came to say, we are not mindful of the noble you have done for us.
If I be alive, Tatabo, Kaibia can name 1 night and walk Chineke Woputala, Debe, on a Jera use, Bo, Obuefi, Melia Ponyaji. Kayana governor, Narokoro, Noka. Nakasi Kaibia can name, no say Yamaka, Habatalai. N'obodo anyị bụ n'ogbe anyị bụ ọkpụrụ ụzọ dịka Uruagụ Nnewi n'ife gbasara mbize nke ndị oyibo na-akpọ erosion ọsọ gbanụ ha gbatara anyị ejikọ m ohere a wee na-agwa onye ọbụla nọ ebe a maọbụ onye Anambra steeti ọbụla na ezigbo afa gọvanọ anyị bụ Akpọ Aza.
Their visit is not misplaced. I don't know about where they have gone, but like I said, when that erosion started widening, the PG visited me not once, not twice, on several occasions about what needs to be done. And my promise to him then was that I was going to do my best.
To them, yes, charity begins at home, but the people are also happy and appreciative of government gesture in salvaging an ugly situation, molesting them and rescuing them from the dangers of erosion.
We thank God for the governor and also the Commissioner for Works, who has been very, very, very up and doing on that project. Since I mentioned it to him, he's been putting pressure on the government from one side, I've been putting on one side. So at a point we all met at the center, which is on the table of the governor. And so I must also commend his effort, the Honorable Commissioner for the current Honorable Commissioner for Works, for all he's done. And I also wish to commend Newmark, the Managing Director of Newmark Anambra State, for even putting up a lot of efforts towards ensuring that World Bank intervenes.
But never or believe it. Kamu na chuku ya gozi kwa noe. Naifa ego ane. Akilo ba ifu ego ane ni pa. Ba really na ane ni ego ne. Mwana una ile sho ibana do na la pole. Wati tu bucha pueba. Chapo. Okay, and the buildings. So we're not highly impressed. Governor, I put it. In
is the story of a famous road, the 100-foot road, an area in the industrial town of Nnewi that was taken over by erosion but recovered and rescued by the government of Anambra State under the watch of Governor Willie Obiano.